Hello everyone, welcome back. I apologize for the shadow that is probably going to be slightly covering this board, but I have like one light in this room, and I tried to turn the one on over there and it barely works. But we've got more roster moves to go over. There's only 3 days on this board, but this actually covers since we last did the board, which I think ended like February 24th, I think was the last day. But that makes sense because everything calmed down for a bit as, you know, the initial EU blows up. Waited until after the North American event. Now we have some North American news. We know who made the major from North America. So now we know who's going to be in contention to make roster moves sooner than others. But without further ado, let's get into it. The first move down in South America. So March 3rd, this was this last Monday. This video is coming out on Friday. A lot actually went down. So the first one is that Moonrise announced that they are replacing Yukeo with Klaus. So Yukeo was in South America playing alongside KNS and Yandy. And apparently that's a one split thing because Yukeo is heading back to Europe. So I think that's the main driving force behind this move happening. In Yukeo's place, they're bringing in Klaus. Klaus was on Yonko with Pan and Davitrox last split. Previously, Klaus has teamed up with KNS. They were both on that Exceed roster that almost made the South American 2 spot for the San Diego major. So they're reunited. They're teaming with Yandy. We haven't heard from Pan or Davitrox. I'm assuming they're looking for one. They both retweeted the Moonrise tweet, but haven't said anything about their own situation. So not really sure what's going on with Yonko, but that's the move with Klaus. Second team, Wurstlstand. If you guys don't know this team, I honestly, no offense to these guys, don't blame you. These guys made one top 16 in North America. It was the very first one. This is Hazo, Jazii, and Sai, or should I say was Hazo, Jazii, and Sai. All 3 of them are looking for team. I believe Jazii and Sai are both on the same CRL team. I'm not sure which one off the top of my head. I apologize for that. But I know they are both European coming to North America for collegiate opportunities. But these guys made 2 and 3, or these guys went 2 and 3 in the last 2 Swiss events. So they are all exploring their opportunities for the next split. One of the bigger ones, these guys only signed up for 2 of the events, but this is Comm and Tawk from Tech. They have decided to go looking for one. Evoh is off a team. Beyond that, I'm not really sure. Obviously, these guys didn't have the best results on the pitch when they made it. I think their highest quality win is a win over 9Lives in the Swiss stage. They went 0-2 in the first main event that they qualified for. They went 1-2 in the last one. They had a tough bracket in the last one. They missed that middle event because of sign-up failures. And so Tawk and Comm, still a very good duo. It's probably just that Evoh doesn't fit with that team because there's no lack of talent for Evoh either. So I'm curious to see who these guys end up with, despite the fact that they're only on 3 points. I think they're a lot better than that and could be a dark horse for at least top 8s or maybe better in the second split. And then our last North American move of that Monday following Championship Sunday is that Zineel is going looking for team. Zineel was teaming with Percy and Lionblaze since the start of last season. They looked at opportunities during the offseason, but ended going back to that former Omelette Cloud9 roster. They went under the banner Omelette this split, but they only went 9th through 12th in every single event. So they were able to take down Deleted in their last event, but still ended up going 9 and 12. I think they lost to Pioneers in that lower part of the bracket, which was JNAP's retirement tour to make top 8. But Zineel has announced he's looking for a team. No word from Percy or Lionblaze yet. They're not super active on Twitter, so haven't seen if they're going to the same boat or what's up with them. Jumping to Tuesday, March 4th, another big move from Europe was Redemption. They're all exploring their opportunities. I'm sure this comes as a bit of a disappointment for this roster. Their results in the Swiss stage, they always went 3-1 through Swiss. This is definitely a team that had the talent, but in their first 2 events, they bombed out 0-2 both times. Neither time should they have gone 0-2, in my opinion. They managed to make top 6 in their last event where they took down 100% in start point on their way to that, which is not a bad run. They got kind of clapped after that where they had to face whoever was the 1 seed. It was Dignitas, I believe, out of Group B, and then they got slapped by Carmicor and slapped by Geekay. So, yeah, they made top 6 by pulling off 2 upsets, but then they went like 0-11 after that in games. I guess what you would expect from a team that got last 2 events in a row, but at the same time, these guys I'm sure had higher aspirations And it makes sense that they're at least exploring options heading into the next split because something wasn't exactly working for this first split. And then probably the biggest move of this week is that Hockser from 9Lives is no longer from 9Lives. So this isn't a kicked situation. This is Hockser announcing that him and 9Lives have mutually agreed to part ways. Chicago made a stream afterwards. Seems like he's citing that, Hockser and Kofor just didn't mesh well on the pitch, and it was better for both parties that options be explored. So Hockser is looking for a new team. Looks like Kofor and Chicago are going to continue looking for one, but this 9Lives team was not too far off the major. They had the lead for the major spot heading into the last event. They could have had a bigger lead. They ended up losing to Team Evoh in the last event to go out to go out 5th through 6th. If they won that match, they would have a 4-point gap and would have actually basically secured themselves that tiebreaker spot. They would have been tied with SSG based on how things worked out in the final event. Obviously, Gen G would have still passed them on the final day, given results, but they would have put themselves on 15. Instead, they're on 13. They're still very much in that Worlds race if you keep their points. So at this point, I'm assuming Chicago and Kofor are still sticking together unless they want to really make a run for the LCQ or one of them gets poached by one of the LAN teams or SSG. But yeah, Hockser and 9Lives mutually parting ways. I think that 9Lives spot is a good landing for anyone who wants to try to dark horse their way into Worlds. So, because despite the results not going their way towards the end of the split, this was a very solid squad. March 6th, this is a really big move as well. This is Scrims World from OCE. For those who don't know this team, this is Caleb, Lunar, and Laxon. These guys won the second event of the split. Super exciting. I made the whole every roster for the 2025 season. And I said in that video, I'm like, if any of these teams, if I have a team that's not listed on here that makes LAN, I'm doing something goofy because that means there's been a complete oversight. I said that word for word, bar for bar, and these guys won an event. So I was a little bit sweating that they were going to make LAN, but because they won an event, and I feel like that's still a massive oversight, I'm still doing something goofy. Be on the lookout for that. But the Scrimzworld trio, they're exploring their options with other organizations. So Scrimzworld picked them up after event 2. They went on to win that event. They missed out on LAN. They're currently sitting at 3rd in OCE. Basically, the owner of Scrimzworld has said, we think these guys can get a bigger org, so we're going to let them, at least enter negotiations, which I think is, really nice of them, to be honest. So hoping that the three of them can get signed. Adam Baguette, who is their coach, is also open to opportunities should they come up. He has stated that his preference is to stick with the guys to try to make a run at Raleigh and Worlds. So the Scrimzworld team, I really like. If you haven't seen the series between Scrimzworld and TSM in the playoffs of Open 3, I highly recommend watching that. I didn't know the result of that series. I didn't wake up at like 3 a.m. or anything to watch it, but I put it on before checking Twitter, before knowing any of the results. Watched that the entire way through. I don't regret a second of it. That was such a fun series to watch. So, and then the last news of this week, per se, these aren't going to be exactly weekly updates. I know this one's 8 days after the last one, but I'll waffle some other time. Eekso is looking for a team, might still duo with Crispydon. So I tried to look at CMS's Twitter, didn't hear anything from him, but Eekso has announced he's looking for a team. He was teamed with CMS and Crispydon on Strictly Business, who had a really good run through the first Swiss, including taking down NRG. Then they proceeded to go 0-2 because of that quadrant of death. They lost to, SSG and Gen G. That's a very tough quadrant. And if it wasn't one of those teams, it would have been NRG, so it makes things worse. But they failed to make the second event after that, which is definitely an underperformance from them. They made the third event. They took down 9Lives, made top 8, and took Gen G to 6, actually, in that bracket. But still looking for more opportunities. So Eekso's gone on the market. The fact that he might do it with Crispy makes me think that maybe they try to retain the points, but it's also only 4 points. Like, at the end of the day, that's not the highest value worth saving if you think you can just straight up get a better team. So could be all of Strictly Business splitting, but that's the current state of their roster. And that's the current state of the league. Hope you guys have enjoyed this update. I'm going to keep rolling these out as they come out. I'm taking a few days off here soon, though. I'm not going to be on socials at all this weekend, so I'll do my best to make sure I don't miss anything. But I should be back next week with another video because I'm sure there's going to be more to put on this board. But thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.